many of you have probably been waiting on this, as have I. But the WNBA All-Star Game ratings have come out, and all I could think of right off the bat was 4 little letters. F-A-F-O. F around and find out.
After Jacy Sheldon hit Caitlin Clark and took her out during the biggest week in the league, the whole WNBA started falling apart. The All-Star Game was supposed to be a big moment, but nobody watched it. The ratings dropped hard, and now the league is acting like nothing happened. They are pretending it has nothing to do with Clark missing, but everybody sees the truth. So how bad did it really get? And what did the commissioner say about all this? The WNBA might not want to admit it, but fans are not fooled.
We have numbers for the most exciting, entertaining, overwhelmed with joy WNBA All-Star Game we have seen in quite some time. We have ratings for that disaster as well. There's good news and there's bad news.
This changed everything. Jacy Sheldon drove her knee straight into Caitlin Clark's groin. This was not a regular basketball play. Clark dropped instantly, holding herself in pain, and the refs just stood there. They saw it all and did nothing. No foul, no whistle, no review, nothing. New footage shows how direct it was. The knee goes straight into her groin. You can see the pain all over her face. This was not some accident. This was a cheap shot right in front of everyone, and they let it slide.
These referees was completely ridiculous. The referees was a complete disaster.
And immediately grabbed the inside of that right leg.
This was not the first time all season Caitlin Clark has taken elbows to the head. Blindside, shoves, eye pokes, and hits that would be flagged in a second. If it were anyone else, the pattern is clear. Players go after Clark and the refs do nothing. It is open season on the biggest star in the league, and nobody is stepping in to stop it.
And last year, I noticed how much it was just Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark was taking all the hits. Caitlin Clark was taking all the abuse. But this year they've added Sophie Cunningham. She gets more flagrant fouls on her than anybody in the league besides Caitlin Clark. And Aaliyah Boston, she's been taking hits as well. But the worst thing is the consistency. So they don't call flagrant fouls, or most of the time Caitlin Clark could be held for an entire game at a time. They don't call fouls. They don't call common fouls. But then when it's the Indiana Fever, guess what? Touch foul here, touch foul here. They call absolutely nothing.
The moment news broke that Caitlin Clark was out of the All-Star Game, fans lost it online. Everyone connected the dots right back to that dirty play by Jacy Sheldon. But the real shock came. Next, ticket prices crashed instantly. The financial hit was brutal, and the league had no answer.
Caitlin Clark gets hurt, and guess what? Your demand vanishes because people ain't going to pay up to see these athletes that are ungrateful that their sport's growing. People aren't paying up for that. And we are here, right here. The tickets for this game, for this All-Star Game, they've dropped by 50%.
Before Caitlin Clark got hurt, the WNBA All-Star Game was set to break records. Fans were paying over $260 per ticket. Even nosebleeds were going for $121. And boom, injury news drops, and everything crashes. Prices tanked overnight to get in. Fell to just $64, a 48% drop. Fans started dumping tickets. Fast, nobody wanted to watch without Clark. The whole market collapsed in hours.
You bleep around and find out what this league looks like without Caitlin Clark being involved in your biggest events. Kathy Engelbert, this should be a perfect example of why you need to get your officiating cleaned up, and you need to have a talk with your players in the league. And nobody's asking you to hold Caitlin Clark's hand. Just play fair.
You know what this proves? The refs didn't just fail Caitlin Clark, they failed the entire league. One missed call cost the WNBA hundreds of thousands in ticket sales. The All-Star Game went from a celebration to a financial disaster overnight. All because they couldn't protect their biggest star. This injury exposed everything.
You see, this is exactly what we were talking about. WNBA All-Star ratings are in for 2025, and it is down 40%. 40% from last year. That's bad. That is really bad. We already watched the ticket prices drop by more than 50% because Caitlin Clark was not playing. This is bad news for the WNBA, and this should be a wake-up call.
First time all season, empty seats at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Not just any night either. All-Star Weekend, the league's biggest event, and the fans said, nope, Clark's not playing. We're not watching every Fever game this year. Sold out until now. Her absence triggered a silent boycott that the WNBA couldn't spin or hide.
It's clear fans sent a blatant message, a shot across thou bow. All right? And your ship, well, without Caitlin Clark, the WNBA and all their pay us what you owe us action, that action will sink. That action will sink.
This is deeper than empty seats. This is the Clark effect. Gone silent. No merch lines. No sold-out hotels. No packed bars. No standing ovations. Fans weren't just mad. They were out losing hundreds. Just to ditch tickets the moment Clark was ruled. Out StubHub flooded local shops, took the hit restaurants. Overstaffed concession stands, overstocked it all collapsed when Clark didn't suit up.
When it comes to the vendors in the arena, the shops in the arena, they're not going to have the same amount of people patronize their business as they would if Caitlin Clark was there. The surrounding restaurants, the surrounding areas, the surrounding attractions, they're not going to have the same number of people patronize their business as they would if Caitlin Clark was healthy.
Let's be real, this exposed everything the league tried to hide. No Clark, no crowd, no buzz, just a regular game. Nobody watched all their stars on one court and still couldn't pull half her energy. Ticket prices crashed, seats were empty, worse was coming, TV ratings millions, just tuned out, said nah, we're good without Caitlin.
The ratings fell tremendously, and it was an awful game. So that large percent of people who did not watch, they probably had a better Saturday than everybody else. We just got to be real. It was a glorified 4-point shooting contest in a layup line. It was terrible. It was a terrible product, and you guys should have taken it personal to show the world what you can do and show the world you are more than just Caitlin Clark, because the ticket prices dropped once it got announced that she wasn't playing.
The All-Star Game flopped, and it proved what people were already thinking, but the league does not want to face it their whole future. Rides on one player. The huge drop in views from last year to this year is not random. It shows fans show up for. One name not for the league, all the promotion for the other names did not work when that one player was missing. This was never about who plays better or who wins. It is about who makes people care, and only one person is doing that.
Talk about leading up to this. The officiating, I think enough fans had it up to here with the league as a whole. People had it up to here. You got to understand. Caitlin Clark is getting beat up in these games. The refs aren't calling anything. Cathy Engelbert seems to have air between both of her ears. She seems to have pure air floating between her ears. And I think people are fed up. They were fed up with.
You know what made this even worse for the league? The players wore shirts saying, pay us what you owe us, but it totally backfired fans online. They're not having it. They saw it as out-of-touch players asking for more money, while the only one bringing in the money was not even playing, looked bad, and the reaction made it clear fans know who really keeps this league alive.